morning. There we go. That worked just fine. Good morning. I'm Jimmy Patronis. I'm the state of Florida's Chief Financial Officer, but I get the honor of being also the State Fire Marshal. And it's so awesome to be here in Fort Myers Day. It seems it's kind of scary, but guys, y'all come on up here. Come on. Come on. It's all right.
They don't bite.
No, we don't bite. Sorry for that. You got to make the tree guys come out of the woods. So anyway, it's just a real honor. You know, it was crazy. As I've been on this job about 5 years, it seemed like it was just yesterday, and Shane and I were talking that day after Hurricane Irma coming and being here at Lee County Emergency Management Operations Center, and it was like somebody kicked over an anthill. The energy, just the challenges, the emotions, the vulnerability of the citizens of this part of the state after Irma made landfall, and just to see this orchestration of experts and just public servants, first responders, bringing this whole community back together to have some type of organized response to protect the citizens of the state. And I tell people all the time, I said the only way that I've had an opportunity to learn, to understand how magnificent the men and women that service this state 24/7, 365 is to try to be there as soon as I can in order to understand sometimes what the challenges are. And Irma was just that, a storm that, created, it touched over 40 counties in the state. It ultimately had a declared state of emergency in almost all 67 counties. So anyway, we're here to remind people, which is still fresh in everybody's minds here, what we're on the verge of embarking right now as yesterday started the first day of the 2022 hurricane season. Predicting, hey guys, y'all come on in, you're fine. This is predicted the experts. I don't know who these experts are. Sometimes I wish they would go study something else, but they're predicting as many as 21 storms, 5 major hurricanes will be impacting out of the Gulf and Atlantic regions this coming 2022 year. I want to thank some of the amazing folks that we've got here with us today. Shane Siebert with USAR Task Force 6. Shane, where you at? Shane, thank you for being here. Fire Chief Tracy McMillan. Tracy, where'd you go? There you are, Tracy. Thank you for being here from the city of Fort Myers. Vice Chairman Ray Sendelli, Lee County. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your service. Mayor Kevin Anderson. Kevin, I got to get you some T-shirts. My family's restaurant's called Captain Anderson, so I got to get you some T-shirts from there so you can have some fun with that. And then we've got Larry Antonucci. Larry, thank you for being here with Lee Health. And then, and again, I had some legislators call me yesterday. I was talking to Rep. Botana yesterday. He says, Jimmy, I'm not going to be able to make it. My aide's going to be here. Where did the aide show up? Hey, you're here. You better she's got notepad in hand. Take very good notes. I'll test you when we're done. So anyway, your legislators just accomplished a pretty important special session last week. When you see them, tell them thank you. We've got some challenges in the Florida insurance market right now, and it's nice to see them organize, recognize there's a problem to fix, and comes to swift resolution. Hopefully, there's some good they'll talk about here in a minute of what that legislative session is going to develop. But as I said, we're going to have an active hurricane season. We're already monitoring one in the Gulf of Mexico. Hopefully, it does nothing but bring us a lot of rain. But as we want all Floridians to understand what these men do when it comes time to disaster. So what we see here with Task Force 6, with forestry, these men and women respond to the disaster immediately after the storm strikes. And I'm glad forestry's here. There's an important role that they play, because you think about the downed trees, the inability to be able to get to those neighborhoods and homes. Ryan, you reminded me of that. I'm supposed to turn this thing on. You think about the down roads, the roads that are with down trees that can't get through. Well, these men and women have to get their equipment in to go door to door, literally door to door. They'll go as many as 4 times to check on the health and safety of the citizens of this area. And it's kind of crazy that, that we will go to such extremes when you would hope people would just evacuate in the first place when our leaders in our communities say it's time to evacuate. What we really don't, I don't want to see these men and women be placed in harm's way. They deal with extraordinary conditions, but you know what? They signed up for this job because they love this job. They're public servants. They don't do it for the money. They do it because they care about what they do for this state and the service. These are the same men and women that responded to Surfside. They're the same men and women that responded to Hurricane Michael. It doesn't matter where the disaster is in the southeastern United States. You know, Task Force 6, Task Force 1, 2, there's 8 of them in the state. They will deploy out anywhere in the state or even outside of the state to help a neighboring state. I'm proud that the Florida legislature this past year appropriated $10 million. First time, Shane's reminded me, it's the first time since 2006 that the urban search and rescue teams have had some resources from the state. And we're going to help them with sustainment, we're going to help them with some equipment, and making sure that there's a little bit of training money in there because, you know what, from time to time people do retire. But they're dedicated, they train around the clock, year-round, just for disasters like this, and we hope they don't have to respond to one. So as we have these 8 teams that they continue to work with either man-made or unfortunately Mother Nature disasters. With Surfside, these men were there for over a week straight. And then unfortunately we had a hurricane come and threatening the state, and we had to go back and send everybody home. Y'all didn't want to go home. None of y'all wanted to go home. These guys, all they understand is they want to finish the mission. So as we had other threats in the state, we worked together in coordination, but it's an honor of a lifetime to be able to be here. My office gets to coordinate these resources, and I get to work with some amazing people, but I also get to see the absolute best in public service with what we have here. So here's the warning I want to make sure everybody's fully aware of, is you got to prepare now for the hurricanes. We're right now, the Florida legislature says, thank you again to the Florida legislature, this week is Hurricane Preparedness Week. So what does that mean? That means we're going to give you discounts and give you your sales tax pack on things like batteries, lanterns, supplies, even dog food. Dog food's even in there, pet supplies, generators. When we see a disaster strike, one thing that I guess we need to make sure, and I'm so glad we've got so many cameras here to express this, people won't leave their pets. They will not evacuate. They can't take their pets. But right here in Lee County, you will have shelters established. That will be pet shelters. You'll have it in every county of the state. We know that special needs shelters are important. We will have those resources there because we want you out of harm's way. If you're in a low-lying area subject to flooding, you may not be able to drive out when a storm happens. With Hurricane Michael, everybody went to bed the night before on October the 9th, and it was a Cat 2 out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and most people aren't going to take a Cat 2 very seriously. By that morning, it was a strengthening Category 4, and it was too late to evacuate. So, I mean, if you had not, and it was going to make landfall that afternoon, if you had not evacuated the night before, you were stuck. And with the case of Hurricane Michael, you had over 165,000 claims. You had $9 billion in losses. But let me speak to, something that's a little more close to home, and I'll talk a little bit more about Irma. In the case of Irma, you had almost, I think, 1.2 million claims, insurance claims, just from Hurricane Irma. You had over $21 billion in insured losses. You know what? You don't need to be in that factor of numbers. So I remind people all the time that we can replace your stuff. We can replace your house. We can replace your TV. We can replace, your clothes. We can't replace you. We can't replace you. We can't replace your loved ones. So when these leaders in our communities, our emergency management directors in our counties make those announcements, you got to evacuate, you got to do it, and you got to prepare. And one thing, I know it's kind of hokey, but I tell people all the time, as I see a number of people have their smartphones in their hands, your smartphone is actually a pretty good tool when it comes time to a disaster preparedness. Tell them, go get your smartphone and do nothing else but go take a picture of the outside of your house. Take a little video, point out that there's no trees leaning on your house, do the same thing inside the house, your TV, your floor coverings, your wall coverings, and then just email it to yourself, put it in a virtual place. Because here's the reality, disaster is going to strike. Unfortunately, Mother Nature loves coming to Florida with hurricanes. And I wish you would go visit Texas, but she's going to come here. And as the storm hits, and say you have, God forbid, you have damage, an insurance company is going to send an adjuster out, and they're going to say, man, what did this place look like before the storm hit? Well, luckily, you already have it on your phone. So creating that photographic evidence from June 2nd to maybe sometime later in October, you're actually creating a perfect photographic case for them to be able to hopefully close your claim in short order. Getting through the financial challenges after a hurricane is also something that our office takes a lot of seriousness in. It's a role that we play with our Office of Consumer Services, because we want to make you whole after the storm, but we'd really make sure you're prepared before the storm. But as I will close, I want to talk a little bit about Prepare FL Florida. Prepare FL Florida is our own state's emergency preparedness website. And let me tell you something, there's some amazing websites out there. Lee County's got their own website. Everybody has a good way of trying to connect with you on what hurricane preparedness should look like. But ours is preparefl.com. Go through the checklist. You'll probably see something there you'd already forgotten about. But again, I think I'm speaking to the choir a little bit, considering the part of the state that I'm in. Just go ask the folks of Lehigh Acres. They'll never forget what Irma did when it came through there, or this whole area. So it's still fresh on everybody's minds here. It is a terrible storm that you survived. You're here to tell the story about. But again, reminding people, 900 people a day are moving to the state of Florida. And you know what? I bet you those 900 moving here have not experienced a Category 3 or 4 hurricane. So, helping getting the word out is also really great. Take advantage of the sales tax prep. And then the last thing I'll leave you with, and then I'm going to bring Shane up. The last thing I'm going to remind everybody about is we did a home hardening initiative this past year. Special session did some upfront money where if your house is under a certain threshold, the state of Florida is going to partner with you with grant dollars in order to replace your windows and doors and make your home, make that bubble, make it tougher. The tougher it is, the harder it is for the wind to peel back a roof or punch a hole through. In addition, the Florida legislature has passed a sales tax exemption for the next 2 years on windows, doors, and garage doors if you are upgrading. So if you've got an older home that did not have these hurricane strengthened reinforcements built into the house, you'll be able to do it with the aid of the state of Florida, as we're going to give you your money back in order to plow right back in to the single biggest investment you'll ever make in your house, in your life, and that's your home. So again, we know in Tallahassee, you spend your money better than Tallahassee does. So this is just one way we are pushing those dollars back out to you. Hopefully you take advantage of it. And then what you do is you do what's called a windstorm mitigation inspection. Talk to your insurance agent. They'll have a list of inspectors that can come in and visit your home. They will do an official report. That gets turned into your insurance company. And by law, if those improvements are higher than what the insurance company had on record, you will get a discount by that. So anyway, honored to be here with y'all today. And now I'm going to invite up one of my mentors and a dear friend, Shane Siebert, to come up on behalf of Task Force 6. Shane.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. People need more coffee. All right. Good morning. My name's Shane Seibert. I am the program manager for Florida Task Force 6. This good-looking crew behind me is part of our team. It's a fragment of our team. The rest of them are either on duty, working, or sick. I know we've had a little bout with that COVID going on, but I'd just like to recognize these guys behind me and the men and women of Task Force 6. Thank you so much, guys. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize some of our joint cooperative agency directors and our command staff. From South Trail, you got Chief Gene Rogers. He's very humble. Chief David Bolin. Chief Todd Anderson. From the city, this good-looking fellow here, Chief Tracy McMillan. He'll be speaking to you here soon. Chief Jake Lamb from Fort Myers Shores. And then Chief Greg DeWitt. He's kind of hiding over there. He's one of our active task force members. So thank you. All right, throughout history, hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods have affected each region of Florida. Rapid residential growth and increased commercial development increases those potentials for those disasters as well. An increased emphasis on the preparation for these incidents calls for a proportionate response capability. So enter the Florida Urban Search and Rescue Response System, otherwise known as FLUSAR. It provides a coordination, development, and maintenance of resources to locate, extricate, and provide immediate medical treatment to trapped victims during a collapse or conduct other life-saving operations caused by natural and man-made disasters. Our team, Florida Task Force 6, provides a rapid deployment of high-caliber personnel trained and equipped to operate in these type scenarios. Our partnership I spoke of earlier is a joint cooperative partnership between Bonita Springs, Estero, San Carlos Park, South Trail, Iona McGregor, Fort Myers Beach, North Collier, Fort Myers Shores, Tice, City of Cape Coral and City of Fort Myers Fire Departments, Lee County EMS and Public Safety, as well as our local community service partners. Florida Task Force 6 relies on these strong partnerships to successfully carry out our mission. And I forgot somebody, my bad. Director Ben Abes, where is he at? Thank you. Lee County EMS. So he's also one of our partners. So he was hiding. Preparation is key when it comes to ensuring the safety of your home and family during the hurricane season. Having the supplies on hand and following the alerts of your local emergency professionals could save your life. Without a doubt, with the elite training, skill, and expertise of Florida Task Force 6, we will run towards the danger, provide life-saving resources to the communities and the citizens we serve. We've got your 6. I'm honored and grateful to have Governor DeSantis and Chief Patronis' support. During our team deployments, don't make me cry. All right. I can't tell you how many times I'd look over. I'd either see the governor. Most of the time I saw this guy every day in our base of operations, whether it be during Michael or during Surfside. They were always right there. More so, expressing their appreciation with a hug and inspirational words. They motivated us throughout. Thank you to our command staff, county officials, and city officials for your support. We are truly blessed to have such great leaders in our region, and I thank you for that. And I'd be remiss. A huge thank you goes out to Chief Patronis for recognizing our first responders today and bringing awareness to the importance of our hurricane season preparedness. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. Thank you, Shane. Now we'll have up City of Fort Myers Fire Chief Tracy McMillan. Tracy?
Good morning, and good morning. And I do have a license for the mustache, just in case anybody's asking. So I'd like to actually start off by first saying I'm honored today to be able to represent the Lee County Fire Chiefs Association and all the many women and men from all the different fire agencies that proudly and faithfully serve here in Lee County. I think I'd be remiss not to actually recognize our Lee County Emergency Management Corps that's over here in the corner there. We love and appreciate that all that you do in the times of disasters and storms, along with everyone else that actually serves, whether or not they're seen or whether or not they're behind the scenes. We appreciate you and all that you do. But today we really want to thank CFO Patronis. We want to also thank USAR Task Force 6 for hosting this disaster preparedness event today. If you guys would just get a little uncomfortable and show them love by a little bit of a hand clap. Thank you guys so much. They truly look amazing. I'm going to order me one of those blue jumpsuits so I can look cool just like them. But as you know, yesterday June 1st, kicked off our 2022 hurricane season, which means it's time to get prepared. Just a little reminder, last year Hurricane Elsa developed very early, somewhere around July 2nd or so, it became a storm. And we were extremely fortunate to be able to recently miss some of major storms also. But we as Floridians know this. We know it all too well, that the next big storm or hurricane could come our way at any time. So we encourage you to plan and prepare. We know the best time to develop an emergency disaster plan is well before a disaster comes. An important part of planning is knowing your risk. Some of the questions you should be asking: what are my evacuation zones? Am I or do I live in a flood zone? Hopefully you are prepared your essential supplies by now, and hopefully you have an emergency supply kit. If not, do it today. You should consider taking advantage of the 2022 disaster sales tax holiday that extends to June 10th. Hopefully the legislator next year will put mustache wax on the list. I need it. Also, be sure to practice your plan with your family. And as you prepare to keep your family safe, please do not forget your biggest investment. That is your home. Do not wait until the storm is coming to start protecting your property. Start now. Always make sure you secure your items in and around your home well before the winds and things start arriving. And as you're preparing your home, do not forget to secure or ensure that you have adequate insurance coverage for your homes and or your business. Here's the skinny. The key points here, folks, is this. Having a plan and being prepared will help you to keep you and your family safe throughout this whole hurricane season. And I can assure you, this is one thing I know, our first responders have a plan and they're prepared to be able to respond during a disaster. But please make every effort. As you look at these men and women behind us and around us, please make every effort not to put them in harm's way, to have to look for you because you did not take the opportunities to prepare. They'll do it, but don't put them in that position. So here it is, folks. Be prepared, have a plan, and we hope not to see you unless we're actually looking at some type of public relations event. I do appreciate this time, and if we can just share another little bit of round of applause for our CFO Patronis, because he's done some amazing stuff for us. And my last little closing statement is this. Got to get my papers together. CFO Patronis, thank you for helping educate our consumers and our communities on disaster preparedness and to ensure Floridians are empowered and have the tools they need to weather a storm and recover quickly. It is by your efforts and the efforts of our governor and our legislature, and we thank you for that, because you don't have to do that, but we thank you for always being there for us. Thank you so much.
Well done. So now, Commissioner, I got to brag a little bit. So after Hurricane Michael hits my hometown, who was the first to come and bail us out? It was Lee County's emergency management team, as they were the first people that came. I get a little emotional. They were the first ones there to bail out the Bay County emergency management team. Bay County, your storm is hit, and you think about everybody who lives there who also runs emergency operations. They care about their own homes, they care about their own families. So, you know, who comes in to pitch hit and run operations for us, Lee County. So again, thank y'all so much. Now I'm going to invite up Vice Chairman Ray Sendelli to come up on behalf of the Lee County Commission. I just wanted to brag about y'all before your boss came up. Thanks.
Well, good morning. Another beautiful day in Florida, and if you don't feel safe right now with this group around you, it's a good place to start. I want to thank our CFO, Jimmy Patronis. Welcome back to Southwest Florida.
Yes,
your concern and that of Task Force 6, commitment to our state and community, is always greatly appreciated. As we already know, and it's been reported, the hurricane season of 2022 is upon us. Last year's season brought 21 named storms, the third busiest on record. While we were spared any direct hits, we know each season is different. And here at Lee County, we know how important it is to be prepared, and that time to prepare is now. This team behind us across the spectrum not only addresses those situations, but they're training and preparing every day. And that's what we're trying to do today, is think about it, think about all the information today, start preparing. It's never early enough, and you're better prepared when situation hits. So as was said before, it's a little redundant, make a family plan. The family's the core of everything. Put together your disaster supply kit. Take advantage, as was mentioned before, the governor's the upcoming tax-free days for buying supplies. Download the Lee Prepares app on your phone. And there's many people that can help you with that. I'm, need a little help myself. Sign up for Alert Lee by going to www.alertlee.com. And finally, stay informed. This is all about preparation. It's all about staying informed. Preparation, response, recovery involves our entire community, as you see represented here today. You can also visit worldwideweb.leegov.com/hurricane for more resources and information. There's a ton of information out there, but it takes a while to process it, to think about it, and then employ it in your own plan. So let's be safe, and let's all look out for each other. That's the most important thing in this community, that we care for each other and we look out for each other. Thank you.
You know, the commissioner's right. Signing up for those alerts are so critical as getting that word out. You know, we lean on our media partners. We lean on our every outlet that we can. But it's nice if you've got that alert set up, because typically, at least your cell phone service can be something that, you know, may not be affected by a down outage, because there's usually pad generators mounted right there. So being able to at least have those alerts to be able to know what's going on is critical. Thank y'all for doing that. And we'll have up Mayor Kevin Anderson on behalf of the city of Fort Myers. Mayor, thank you, sir.
Chief Patronis, welcome back to the nation's 6th fastest growing city.
Right.
Amen. Thank you for taking the time to highlight the importance of hurricane preparedness. You know, as we all know, it's no secret, the most predictable thing about a hurricane or hurricanes is that they're unpredictable. And with that, that makes the days leading up to a hurricane landfall very chaotic. But having a solid, firm disaster plan in place will help keep your family safe and help them weather the storm. I'd also like to say thank you to the urban search and rescue teams for their service to the Fort Myers community as well as communities across the state. I can tell you, I know I sleep better at night knowing that you are prepared to respond to any level of disaster that this state may face. So thank you very much, Chief.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You know, I'm not telling anything that y'all don't know, but Lee Health is it touches everybody's life, whether it be at birth or at end of life and everything in between. And it's such a incredible part of not only the quality of life and the peace of mind. And I remind people all the time that if we look at the amazing first responders that are here, you know, you don't have good businesses, you don't have folks relocate to the state, you don't have investments unless you have this robust safety net that works 24/7, 365. And we realize and relate that to our first responders, but our hospitals, our healthcare professionals are just as integrally important to that. Nobody wants to move to a community if it doesn't have a good, safe healthcare system there, and Lee really embodies that, and at so many levels, especially what y'all have had to deal with over the last 2 years with COVID. Dr. Antonucci is not only a dear friend of mine, but he's just an amazing part of what makes this part of the state the 6th fastest growing city in America, because again, good quality of life. So Doc, thanks for being here, and love for you to share some of your challenges. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Patronis, for bringing us together and for those kind words. And thank you all for being here with us. The main message I wanted to deliver this morning is a simple one, and that's Lee Health is ready. We have been working for weeks. Our emergency management team has been working to prepare for this hurricane season as we do every year. We have members of our team embedded here at the Lee County Emergency Operations Center, and we work closely with our county officials and our state officials as we prepare for the coming season. It's important to know that Lee Health will be open throughout an entire hurricane event. We will be there for you. We will be available. Our teams are ready. Our staff is ready, and we have the ability to have 2 separate staffs that they cross-cover each other. We have the ability to billet our staffs in the facility if we need to. We also have the ability to run without power. We have complete generator backup and adequate supplies of diesel to be able to run the system. So I want the community to know that we are here for them. We will be here for them as we have been for over 100 years. And if you need medical care or medical treatment or emergency treatment, we will be open and we will be ready. Thank you.
Well, this concludes today's presentation. Thank you so much for those of y'all in attendance, your sacrifice. Heather, thanks for being here. Oh, hey, Ray Rod, come here. No. Give a round of applause to this guy. So the Florida, as I was telling y'all earlier, I was bragging about what y'all did in the Florida legislature this year. Not only insurance reforms, but also hurricane preparedness. In addition to our home hardening initiative, there's a number of things. So Ray Rodriguez, the senator here, and I got to serve in the Florida House together. Larger than life public servant, understands the challenges of this part of the state, and then goes and takes those to Tallahassee to hammer out consensus solutions. I tell people all the time, we're not one state, we're about 5 different countries, and to be able to make policy that makes sense for everybody, that's common sense policy, is why it's so important to get to know your legislator and make sure they understand what's important to you. And there's nobody that I've enjoyed working with that embodies that, who carries that, who has the passion about it more than Senator Rodriguez. But again, thank you for this amazing work y'all did with insurance special session, the regular session, sales tax holidays, and what you've done to put the people's dollars back in their pockets. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for those kind words. Chief was a senior my freshman term in the House, and I'm sure it will surprise no one to learn he took a number of us freshmen under his wing and mentored us as we were finding our way through that first and second session. And you've seen so many members of that class go on and do great things in the legislature. It's because we had strong people to mentor us when we arrived. And I'm glad, I've heard multiple times, the actions we've taken in the legislature as far as the sales tax for preparing for a disaster, the opportunity to go and access state dollars to improve and harden your home to prepare it for a hurricane. And I encourage everyone to take advantage of both of those. There's obviously an interest from a public policy standpoint of having our constituents be as safe as possible and to make as the chief said, the largest investment they'll make in their life as secure as possible. But it's the right thing to do from a community perspective as well. Because if every individual does their part with a disaster plan, then this team behind us, the USAR team, will face less danger when the storm comes. And so not only are we going to take care of ourselves, we need to take care of those that are putting their lives on the line for us. And the last thing I'll say is I'll work on that mustache wax in the next sales tax. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And for all the USAR guys, make sure y'all say thank you to the senator, because you wouldn't have got $10 million for sustainment equipment if it wasn't for his vote. So anyway, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank y'all so much for being here. I see some of our FWC guys in the back room. Thank y'all also for being here. You should have been up here. You actually should come on up, actually. So, anyway, please take this season very seriously, and we're fine to answer any questions if y'all got anything you need to ask. All good? All right, great. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. This concludes.